Okay. Once again, good morning to all of you. So, part A we had covered for the module 1. Part B, yesterday we started discussing about these things. So, what we are analyzing in this section is that few of the discrete mathematical representation of your channel, and there are few of the effects, okay, interference, which we need to identify. So we had discussed on the analog communication part, frequency means amplitude modulation part, frequency modulation part. Then at the end of that module we were discussing about the noise. Okay, so here also we are having a channel. Okay, so we are using this cellular concept. So common bandwidth will be utilized by multiple users, and there will be some interference that we need to minimize. So to understand these things we require few of the terminology like path loss, like shadowing, and one more important topic is fading. So these are the interference uh, which will affect the channel, which affects the cellular channel. Okay, so those things observation we are trying to identify. So in detail technical details are not provided here, only the representation only it has been given here. So what we had in amplitude modulation or frequency modulation, the expression they have not given here, it is only representation. Okay, so broadband wireless channel, so it is represented by a tap delay line which consists of this expression h of k comma t. So you can observe that over a period of time what are its effect, how it will affect. So those things over a period of time we need to observe it. So obviously over a period of time the power also it will keep on decreasing. So obviously there will be some noise, right, and that should be minimized, right. So these are the things which we need to take care. Okay, to express these things we have two methods. One is statistical method, one is empirical method. So these methods, how it is going to affect, what are its after effects, so those we are going to observe now. So we have given this one more expression. Assuming that the channel is static over a period of v plus 1 t seconds, the output of the channel is represented by y of k comma t. It is just like s of t, sampled wave, right? And here h of k comma t, h of sorry h of k comma t was your delay line, means overall channel model is described this one. H of k of t multiplied by your x of k. X of k is nothing but your carrier wave which was c, right? So this is how the representation it is. Then one more we need to understand is the path loss, right? So total power transmitted from the transmitter till it reaches to the receiver. So how much it will be there, whether path loss has been occurred or not. To measure that one, we have this expression PTPR equal to receiver power equal to transmitter power lambda square gain of transmitter gain of receiver divided by 4 pi d square, right? So this we call it as a Frisch formula, which it is present in the communication subject also, and it is there in SATCOM also, satellite communication also. Right, there one more term which we discussed was on the shadowing part. So shadowing part means what? Penetrating through any of the object in between transmitter and receiver. Okay, so to measure that also we have some expression which is given here, and the shadowing value which is gamma, that should be in the range of this. Okay, so these are only representation how much value it should be there, if it is there, whether it will allow data transmission or not. So that is been observed here. Now actually we are going to learn about the cellular concept, how it has been divided, what is the geographical areas covered in the cell, what is the angle part of that one, what is the sectoring part of that one, so what is base station. So those things we are going to observe. So earlier I have shown to you this image. Okay, this is a standard figure of an hexagonal cellular system with frequency equal to 1 by 7. So indicating that your hexagon, it has been divided into 7 cells, right? And each of the cells having a base station, 7 base station we have, and those base station is been identified with this variable name A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so 7 names. So you can see this one hexagon is, we call it as a cluster, and one, we call one part of that hexagon, we call it as a cell. Okay, so this is a cell, and this D representing here, dot representing it as a base station, right? So this is a geographical representation of your cell, of a cluster, of a cellular concept, right? So one more part what we have to is that the reuse of the same frequency channel, right? So for every mobile or base station we don't have a separate cell or a sector. Okay, you are going to use the same cell. So a term we are going to use a reuse of the same frequency. So that reuse of frequency term is been highlighted with this example Z. Okay, or the expression is given by Z equal to D by R. Here D is your distance, right? And R is your radius part of that particular cell, and Z is nothing but your reuse frequency value, right? In an hexagonal cell structure, the co-channel reuse ratio is given by Z. So what is the cellular concept? Right. So some advantage of systems are, cellular systems allow the overall system capacity to increase by simply making the cells smaller and turning down the power. Okay. So one of the example previously what I had given is that, sir, how you divide it by 7 or 3 or 5 or 6, right? So again it is taking the angle 360-degree divided by how many cells you want to have. So in that particular angle it will be there. So one more thing what we can observe here is that, sir, how to divide these so many cells? It was with respect to the populated area, right? So if you take inside Bangalore area, so more number of users are there, so accuracy you want to have, network connectivity you want to have, so the cell structure will be smaller and smaller, right? So in detail if you go, it is just like if I take an image also. So if I take normal 1 megapixel camera, so image clarity will be normal, right? At a over a fair distance if you observe, you think that the quality is good, but when we go zoom into that image and when we try to capture the image quality data, then you will observe that in the normal 1 megapixel so much information was not there. So you go in detail, you go for 2 megapixel, you go for 10 megapixel, you go 20 megapixel, what happens? The clarity will increase. The clarity, how it is increased? So you are going into in detail of that data. That same concept here also we are going to observe. Okay, how much the clarity will be there means number of cells, if it is more, then it will be have more clarity. But what we need to compromise here is that with respect to the power. So as you have more number of cells, you will be having require more number of power also, because you need to debug that one. So if you compromise on that one, then this will be easy. Otherwise what happens? You will need to face the other problems which will be arising with the smaller and smaller of cells, right? So if it is still smaller, it is very difficult to identify. It looks similar, maybe it looks identical, it will be difficult for us to debug where actually it is located. Okay, your mobile phone location also, if it is given properly, right, network is there, then it will identify, otherwise it will create a problem. The cellular system supports user mobility, seamless call transfer from one cell to another cell is also provided. The handoff process provides a means of a seamless transfer of a connection from one base station to another. Small cells gives a large capacity and reduce power consumption, because only one particular, because it is with respect to the transmission which I am telling uploading. For the downloading part, for debugging, it will be a difficult task. So analysis of this cellular system, the performance of a wireless cellular system is significantly limited to co-channel interference, right? So which I was telling, co-channel interference we are going to have. So this is one hexagonal part cluster, this is one hexagonal cluster, then you are going to transmit data between these cluster. So co-channel interference that you need to identify and you need to minimize. So this co-channel interference, we are representing it as a CCI. This comes from other users in the small cell or from other cells. In cellular system, other cell interference OCI is one decreasing function of the radius of the cell R and the distance of the center of the neighboring co-channel cell and an increasing function of transmit power, right? So this is what why he has given this distance and ratio. This is a reuse factor because I am going to use, this is my base station and I am into this region, okay, I am into this region, and over a period of time I can shift from this cell to this cell. Why? Because the distance will be very small. So when I am present in a cell, what is the reuse area of that one, and that part also it needs to identify. And when I move from A to D, right, then my base stations will change and I need to use that cell also. So there will be lot of interference which will be affecting from this base station and this base station, and pertaining to these two, interference also need to be highlighted, and based on all these parameters only, then I will be able to do. Best example is that my mobile phone is starting. Now I am sitting in this classroom. So when I use internet also, so it will be consuming power, it will be consuming or it will be browsing and everything will be there. But as my device is stationary, so it will consume less, okay, the power and other things. But if I am traveling, right, if I am in a vehicle and if I am moving from one place to another place and I am using the internet, right, then what happens, your consumption of power also it will be more. Why? Because every time your base station it is keep on changing, right? So one advantage, if you have multiple base stations, you need to connect, you need to disconnect, you need to connect, you need to disconnect, so those powers will be there, right? And if I am having these multiple cells, what is the advantage is that more coverage network area will be there. Suppose say combining to this all radius there is only one base station, then connecting to that base station is easy, disconnecting is easy, but what about coverage area, whether it will cover that network area? So you are having some different problems with each of these things. Again, if you ask me, sir, which is best, so what I have to tell is that again it depends upon the application which you want to use. Obviously when I tell applications, so you go for the military application, you go for the medical application, you go for the vehicle application. So all are having different ranges, different priority level, right? So there few of the military application, if it is there, then I cannot compromise on that one. Okay, medical applications are there, then also I cannot compromise. I cannot tell okay, right? For consumer application types, so you can avoid those things, right? So it will be not important. So those are the things which will come into picture. But how to measure that one, so that also you can do. So however that determines performance in terms of its capacity, in terms of its reliability, and it is measured in signal to noise ratio, right? Signal to interference ratio, SIR, the amount of desired power to the amount of transmitted power, right? So I have said that it is measured in terms of power, transmitted power, receiver power. So transmitted power how much, receiver power how much. If it is more than the transmitted power, then noise has been added. If less than the transmitted power, then there is a loss. So these are the few parameters which you should remember, right? Therefore, if all of us our base station increase or decrease in their power at once, the signal interference ratio and hence the performance is typically unchanged, which is known as a interference limited system, right? So usually it will be very minimal, okay, but if you have more disturbance, okay, then it will affect signal to interference ratio. It will be usually very less because the transmitted power, the base station, it is all very in limited part. You check about your battery power size also, it is micro amps which you are going to get, so it is not into the high voltage, okay, as you observe in the power station. It is very minimal required for transmission of your data, okay. So your signal to interference, it is measured by this expression, which is S by I, S by and multiple of this I value. So this I value, it is going to change for the different location based on the different thing. So here in this image you can observe there is a mobile station, and this mobile station is connected to all the base station present in that cluster, okay, and measuring these powers you are going to use with this expression. So this is what present in this PPT also, which was earlier there. So you have explained this part. Then we have Z equal to D by R, or we can be root 3 divided by F, frequency of that part, or signal to interference ratio SI, which is given by this value, which is this image which has been given. This we call it as a forward link interference in a hexagonal cellular system. Worst case. So worst case, what we will do is that your mobile station will be able to communicate to all the base station present in that cluster. So indicating that one cluster, so many base stations will be there, and you are into that cluster. So again, connecting and disconnecting is not needed. But if you go to some other cluster, then what happens? It is just like you are in Karnataka state, so there will be in Karnataka wherever you go, there won't be any roaming part. Once you go out of the Karnataka state to any other neighboring state, then roaming starts, right? So when roaming start, indicating that your entry into that, it should be recorded, right? And what are the signal transmission you are going to think? For those things extra you should pay. Earlier it was there, now you don't find you, but still you will get a message that you have changed to a new location, means new network part, okay. That information is providing here. Now that also will be not a matter, because your data, your every transmission of signals are going with respect to the internet packet, which is your IP, right? So you will not find any of the effects, okay. So this was there present here. Now one more thing what you need to observe here is that the angle which you are going to observe from this mobile station to different base station. So everyone, it will be not to a 30 degree or a 60 degree or 90 degree, 180 degree or 360 degree. It is covering to complete all those things. Why this covering is required? Because again we will be observing the shadowing effect. So to reduce that one, and one more thing what we have to observe is the fading. Now fading, what is the concept here is that, so this is my mobile station and I wanted to transmit to this base station 16. So directly if I go, what will be the my path loss? If I take base station 0, base station 8 and base station 16. So two intermediate nodes I am going to use. Or I can go from mobile station to base station 4, base station 12, base station 6. So I am using intermediate two nodes. There may be nodes where I am using multiple nodes. Your fading means you are transmitting your information through different ways, multiple paths to reach to a destination, and you are having same content in multiple paths. So that effect we call it as a fading. So that fading also you are going to observe. Before that we have one more topic which we call it as a sectoring, right? So directional antenna are used instead of omnidirectional antenna. So omnidirectional antenna we were using that 90 degree, right, which will cover all the angles. Now we are having the directional antenna where your cells will be divided into different angles based on the number of cells present in the cluster. So when I want 120 degree sectorization is used, one cell then usually covers 360 degree is divided into 3, you are going to get 120 region. So you are going to get 360 divided by 3. So one cell it is having 120 degree angle. If I want to have more, so when it is 60 degree, so 360 divided by 60, so you are going to get 6, which is like this. So this is how your cell you are going to divide, and this part we call it as a sectoring, right? Sectoring means what? Your clusters you are going to divide the cells based on the angles, right? So 3 sector 120 degree and 6 sector with the 60 degree angle. So in a cellular system, again your other cell interference OSI that you need to be taken care, and signal to interference ratio above expression whatever it is there that need to be highlighted. So one more broadband wireless channel I said about this fading, right? So this is also an important parameter which you cannot neglect. Okay, so in the communication subject also, when we are discussing about the noise, right, few of the terms we had taken it as constant values. Means what? That value will be so much only, the minimum value we have retained it, and we measured and we calculated that the total power will be in that way. If I, to understand still better, I transmitted exactly 1 kilowatts power transmission. Receiver power is 1.0001 or 0.99999, right? So what 0.001 or 0.0001, that will not affect your system. Okay, in the class also, if one or two people are making noise also, that is negligible one which will be present, which I can avoid, right? Because I wanted to cover the portion to all the students, and one or two people if they are making noise means that will not affect me. Okay, if more number of people are making noise, then I need to make an action, right? That is the thing which we need to observe. So what is this fading? If you ask, one of the most disturbing aspects of wireless channel is the fading phenomena. So what is this fading phenomena? Unlike path loss or shadowing, which are large scale attenuation effects due to the distance or obstacles, okay, fading is caused by the reception of multiple version of the same signal. So path loss and shadowing, some distance or based on some obstacles will be there. But what about fading? It is caused by the internal noise we call. Noise also it was an internal noise, external noise. Internal noise it will be minimum, which can be manageable. But external noise it is not manageable, which needs to be addressed. That is the meaning here. So fading is caused by reception of multiple version of the same signal. The multiple received version are caused by reflection that are referred to as multi-path. Depending on the phase difference between the arriving signal, the interference can be either constructive or destructive. Right. So earlier communication part, the phase value was 0. Now here the phase value cannot be 0. Right. So when phase value is present, then it will affect, and that can be a constructive type or a destructive type. This causes a very large observed difference in the amplitude of a received signal even over a short distance. Right. So for short distance also you will be feeling its effect. Now this fading effect also you can observe here. This is one phenomena where he is having an antenna. There is a local scattering. There is a multiple ways which they have used for the transmission. And there how it will behave, what are its output, what are its effect, that we have to observe now. So let us consider a time varying tap delay line channel model. Okay, so again tap delay model which we are observed, h of k comma t, okay, h of or y of k comma t, which was there. As either transmitter or receiver move relatively to each other, the channel response h of t will change. Movement in the propagation environment will also cause the channel response to change over time. This channel response can be thought of having two dimension. One is a delayed dimension, which is tau, and a time dimension, which is t. Okay, so these are the effects of this channel response which we need to observe. Okay, since the channel is highly variant in both delay dimension and time dimension, in order to be able to discuss what a channel response is, we must have the statistical model. So that is what I was earlier telling. There are two types of modeling methods. One is statistical method, one is the empirical method. So first we will be starting with this statistical method. So what is the statistical method means what? In this statistical method, we are having autocorrelation function adapted for your delay function, which is tau, and a time function, which is t. So delta of tau, delta of t, and autocorrelation function. So that is why we are having this here. This is only representation, okay? There is nothing much as communication part. X of t, message signal m of t, convolution of c of t. Here it is what? Autocorrelation function with your impulse function h1, h of tau 1 by t1, and h convolution of tau 2 by t2. Here h convolution, this is your impulse function, and this is your normal inputs function, and that you are going to measure in terms of the energy. So that is why you are going to have E, right? And over a period of time you are moving from one cell to the another cell, so there is a delay in the time part. So only this second impulse function, you can observe that it is tau 2 t plus delta t, right? And delay function is there, so that also it is included. So representing only, right? Only observe it is representing, don't go in detail of that one. So here actual expression now, E of h of tau 1 comma t1, h impulse tau 2 comma t2, now it has been represented into E of h of tau t, h impulse of tau plus delta tau comma t plus delta t. Okay, so small delay added, small time function is been added. That is the only meaning which is said. So you need to measure what is its effect. So in this waveform you can observe. Okay, so what this waveform is doing is that you are having two functions. Okay, one carrier wave, right, one message wave. If I just transmit a normal wave, so here you can see x1 of t signal, okay, which is this dotted one, and you can see x2 of t, which is these 2 points, right? And when I add to these two, the value will be 0. But if I take y, which is an impulse response, so you are adding some modulation technique for that one, so it will enhance. So the interference will be very linear and it will be negligible. That is the meaning which is trying to observe here, right? So this is normally which would have taken, okay, and this is the what we call after convolution y of t, this will be the reduced part. So this is the effect which you need to make so that your system will be having higher efficiency, right? And to do this one, again it depends whether your data is in narrow band or whether it is in a wideband part. So the channel described by this autocorrelation function is a wide and stationary uncorrelated scattering part, right? So this how you are going to measure. So this is going to be measured using the delay spread, which is tau, coherence bandwidth, which is bc, Doppler speed, coherence time, angular speed, coherence distance. So these are the different measuring units for this autocorrelation function, which is y of t. And this y of t you are going to be identified by this autocorrelation function A, delta of tau and delta t. And this you are going to represent in this function, which is s by I. Right, you need to measure these things, and after having this waveform, right, the response of that one, you can calculate these are the parameters. Like when we want to tell that my signal it has been reached to the destination or not. In mobile application, what I have to see is that I have sent one normal SMS. That normal SMS, whether it has reached to the destination or not. So how you are going to see? So from the network provider, he will give you an option that deliver message if you make it as on, or if you enable the delivery messages. So once the message will reach to a destination, you will get a message that so your message has been delivered. And for doing that one, again some power loss will be there. So what we usually will do, we will not enable those things because unnecessary some powers will be lost. But if you take military application and medical application, you cannot tell that definitely I should know what exactly the problem is, because I need to go for the higher scans. That is why normally using X-ray they were doing, but X-ray also it was not conclusive. Okay, so they will go for now MRI scan. So MRI scan at a 3D level, you will be able to know what is the length or what is the width, right? How much, what is the height, what is the weight. So those all things it can not weight, but at least length and width and the thickness you can measure, right? Using that MRI scan. And based on that thickness value, they will be able to, the medical doctors, they will be able to guide you that. So what is how much what you call tablets percentage ratio you need to take, how much mg you need to take, whether 500 mg or 100 mg or 1 mg, what that parameter will be that. Those are some examples which will be there. So analyzing these things, right, the methods which we are trying to discuss of cellular cancer, you are having two types, right? So as I discussed that one, so modeling, broadband feeding channel, the two main classes of models are, one is statistical model, one is empirical model. Okay, so these two methods only we need to discuss. In order to design and benchmark wireless communication system, it is important to develop channel models that incorporate their variation in time, frequency and space. Okay, the two main classes of models are statistical model and empirical model. Statistical model are simpler and are useful for analysis and simulation. The empirical models are more complicated but usually represent a specific type of channel more correctly, accurately. Right. So this is just like normal X-ray type, and this is just like a MRI scan, which is with respect to one particular application. Okay. So we need to start with this statistical model. So this statistical model we will cover in the next session. Okay. So as of now, this much is sufficient. Why? One more reason is that I am having at 11:55 one more class, so I need to attend that also. Okay. So I hope you have understood this part. The statistical model and the empirical model we will be covering in the next class. So next class it is present on Monday. So we will meet on Monday and discuss this statistical modeling and empirical modeling. So I'll just stop the recording.